would describe Dools?
Kris, I think you'll hear this a lot, is just a nice guy.
Probably one of the best I've played with. Knows his strengths.
Yeah, been at the club so long, Kris has certainly got that love for the club.
Unlike a lot of footballers, I think Kris is an intelligent lad. I think he's really intelligent.
Very friendly, very probably generous with his time.
I think it's probably one of his biggest attributes as a player, the type of person he is and what he brings to the squad.
Good sense of humour, good personality. In football terms, good to have about the dressing room.
He was a consummate professional, and a consummate professional who scored goals, which is a good formula for a hero.
Kris Doolan started his career at Kello Rovers before moving to Auchinleck Talbot in 2007, and that's where our story begins.
When I had Kris at Auchinleck, the first time he came to notice was we were playing at Kello Rovers, and I think it was the old Jackie Scarlet Cup, or probably Ardagh Glass Cup it was called at the time. It was actually a summer's night, and we noticed Kris, he was playing the left side midfield for Kello Rovers that night, and he seen the ability I had and good appetite to work straight away. He noticed it in him, and I actually knew Kris before that for youth level. I always remembered him. He was much smaller then. He seemed to have took a sprout by that time. So after that match, I actually made my interest to Kello Rovers about him, to see if they'd be interested in letting him go. And lucky enough that turned out, and we managed to get Kris along here. Look, Kris came as I say, he came as a left midfield player, and when we really noticed is when we played him up front in a game, and then it really showed the timing of his runs, the touch, natural timing in the air he had as well. He was a good header of the ball right for an early age. It seemed to suit him. To me, he was much more effective playing through the middle. It gave him a bit more freedom to go and express himself.
I was playing regular for Auchinleck, scored some goals for Talbot, and one of the scouts from here had been to 5 or 6 games to come and see me, and I think I'd scored in most of the games, and then he brought me in, came on trial here, played a couple of reserve games, and I was lucky enough I got a couple of goals there as well, and I stayed on and done training with the squad, trained right through Christmas, and then in the January window I signed.
Kris Doolan signed for Thistle on the 9th of January 2009 before making his debut the next day in a Scottish Cup tie away against Inverness Caledonian Thistle.
Well, I first signed Kris, I think he played 3 trial games. I remember at the time it was him, Erskine, and another boy that went on and played senior, a centre forward, can't remember who it was. And Dools, he scored 2 goals in his 3 games against decent opposition, and he was just he looked like natural football. He had great touch, and we obviously lacked physique at that point, but he had great touch on the ball, and he obviously could finish. So we didn't have a lot of money at the time apart at Thistle, so I don't think his wages were huge. I can't even remember what it was, but I know it wasn't a lot. And he did enough for me to convince me to sign him.
As soon as we seen him playing at centre forward, I think we all knew we weren't going to keep him long. And Ian McCall was the first to actually come in for him. We didn't really have much interest apart from that, which was quite surprising to me. In fact, I remember one game we were going to Stonehouse Violet. They're no longer a club now, Stonehouse Violet. It was a Scottish Cup tie, and Kris had been doing really well, and I had made up my mind that day. It was one of the games I was going to leave him out just to play the other guys, to give them a wee run at it. And the scout for Partick Thistle actually turned up at the game that day, which I always remember. I always find it quite funny. But I spoke to Kris before the game. I said, "Look, Kris, I'm going to give the boys a run today," and he, no problem at all. He took it in the chin, come the next training night, a lot of players would assault there. Again, he's best, excellent at training, excellent. Nothing put him off. That shows you about his attitude. It was nothing fazed him. He was always concentrating on going to being a footballer.
I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. Can't complain. It's been a massive rise for me, but settled in really quickly. The boys have been brilliant with me, and I feel I've adjusted quite well with the level of football as well.
I think initially you come through the door and you're judging him, you're thinking this guy needs to go to the gym first and foremost because he was the size of a £5 note. But as a striker coming in, you're enjoying the competition. You're maybe looking to play alongside each other, and I think that there was good competition at the time. Kris had an eye for goal, similar to myself, and you thrive on these sort of things. But yeah, certainly thought he definitely needs to go to the gym because he wasn't the biggest back then.
I think he had that willingness to learn. I think, you know, when you look at where he comes from, coming from the juniors, he obviously was determined to make the most of the chance that he had. It was a little bit later in life. He would have been 21, 22 when he signed at Thistle, so he's worked hard, and you know, going through junior football and working at the same time, and to then go full time at that stage in his career, he obviously knew the chance that he had and wanted to grasp that. So no, he was always willing to learn, always willing to take things on board, and I think he did learn from, like I said, guys like Marco and Simon Donnelly and good experienced professionals, and that rubbed off on him. And as I said, he was keen to show the ability he had, and he knew the chance that he had from the background that he come from. So he was eager to learn.
Well, I played in the juniors. I told this story a couple of weeks ago. I played in the juniors, so I think my debut I lost a tooth, or my second game I lost a tooth and had stitches. So I've seen the junior game as this rough and ready game, and then somebody said that Bobby Denny's bring a couple of trialists in for the juniors, and in rocks in Kris Doolan and Chris Erskine, two guys that were probably the same width as my thigh. So it was unbelievable the fact that they came and they're so slight, but his quality was there, and both their qualities, was there for all to see. I know it's a Kris Doolan documentary, but it's hard to mention one without the other, really, because they've done so well for the club.
So when I came in, Dools had just come in a few months before me, I think. So he'd come in the January, I came in the summer, and from my point of view, so it was a big step for me going for the junior football to what was the first division at the time. So I think having somebody like Dools who was there, who'd just made the step up a few months before and was doing well. I think he'd played a few games the season before and scored a few goals. So I think having somebody like that in the team that came from the same background as me was a bit of a confidence builder for me coming into the team.
Hassle-free is the best way to describe him. He was always fit, always wanted to train, always wanted to work hard, never gave you any problems, was one that you knew when you came in the morning what you were going to get out of him. Nah, he was a joy.
Simon Donnelly, been Celtic international player. Liam McCann scored a lot of goals as well, so I'm always learning.
I think his patience in the beginning to earn his place in the team was very good. His knowledge of the game, his first touch, his eye for the goal. You could tell he had all the ingredients to be a top player. When he first came in, he just probably had to learn the game a little.
I think he grew as time went on at Partick Thistle, but I think he's a very, very humble guy. You know that as soon as he came in the building. And he was willing to learn from the other professionals. I think he came to Thistle probably at a good time in terms of Ian had set up a dressing room with a few older pros in it that can manage the dressing room. Myself, Craig Hinchcliffe, Ian Maxwell, Simon Donnelly. There's always guys like that kind of try to do things in the right manner, in terms, because we didn't have a lot of great things at the club in terms of finance, but the way we went about and trained well and prepared for games, I think Kris took that on board, and he was a guy that was willing to learn. I think he's done that throughout his whole career, and that's how he's had such a long, successful career.
And I think he came in the hard way. I mean, he was working away. I think he worked at Kilmarnock, and I think he did another job as well, and he played in junior football.
I was a community football coach at Kilmarnock Football Club, so I've packed that in just now.
Would you say it was a bit of a risk, or was it a no-brainer?
No, it was a no-brainer. Everybody wants to play football if you get a chance. Even my boss at Kilmarnock, he was a football player. He said just go and concentrate on your football. You can always come back to the coaching.
You live in the dream, you would say.
So I would definitely, so I'll just put my head down, work hard, my football, and see where it takes me.
Look, he had a great appetite. He wanted to be a footballer. It was noticeable. Even the senior players noticed it about Kris. He just had a good appetite to work. Football was his thing. turned up at training, didn't matter what you asked him to do. And you don't always get that nowadays, certainly. Sometimes it's a bit harder work nowadays, but Kris had an appetite. You ask him to do anything, he was one of the guys that did it to the best of his ability. He looked a good player at training, just as he did on the pitch.
Well, he always, I mean, there's a real parallel between him and Erskine. I know it's about duels, but they were very hungry. You know, they came from working backgrounds and they were very hungry to succeed and very hungry to learn.
Yeah, I think that's what probably linked us together, was that we had similar backgrounds. So I remember when I first came into the club, coming from part-time to full-time training, and I remember within the first couple of weeks thinking, this is a lot, the training's a lot harder than I expected to be, and I said to Dools about it, and he said he'd felt the same when he first came in, and basically I'd get used to it, and that's what happened, obviously. So yeah, I think that's what kind of maybe brought a bit of friendship in the two of us for an early stage.
You can't beat the feeling of scoring your first sort of senior goal. I always knew I'd get the chance I'd make chances to score. It's just a case, can I take it as quickly as I can I get in the team, and can I score quickly to get the supporters behind me a wee bit. Lucky enough I got that chance and I managed to put it in the net, so hopefully that gets me off to a good start. I can kick on and get some more.
His first touch was sublime. That was always there. He didn't have something he probably couldn't teach. I think we've seen that after the first week or two, that he could pull the ball out of the sky for 30 or 40 yards in the air and he'd kill it dead. And he had that natural composure in front of goal as well. I think you've seen that in his first early goals actually. I remember him scoring down at Dumfries and scoring up at Ross County, and he showed that level-headedness and didn't panic in front of goal.
After 5 goals in his first season as a Jag, he had a quiet start to his second season and was sent out on loan to gain some experience.
Put him out to Clyde actually on loan, and I think that endeared him to the Thistle fans even more, because I don't think he scored a goal for Clyde. So, but I think that helped his development, and he came back and was ready to go in and try and get a place in the first team.
I remember seeing him sent out for his own good. And it no doubt it helped him. I don't think he scored a goal there. I remember bumping into David Farrell. I think David Farrell was assistant manager at the time, and Cowboy was the manager, and he said he didn't score a goal for us, but he came back and we reaped the rewards of that.
That can be sometimes the end of a player at a club. You see players going out on loan and they never really recover from it, but I think that shows Dools' character, that he went there, came back and then kicked on and scored as many goals as he did. So I think again for young players that's something to look at, and that Dools took that loan spell and turned it into a positive.
I always think for younger players that's very good for development. We did that with Stuart Bannigan down to Ayr, who had a terrific season there. So I think he went there, I think he did well, I think he played well, just couldn't, one of these things, couldn't find the net, and he came back. I think he knew he was good enough then. He had to work on a lot of aspects of his game and his physique, but I think he knew he was good enough. So in that respect I think it was really worthwhile.
After returning, he scored on the last day of this season. It was a goal that set the foundations, as Kris was about to have his first of 8 seasons hitting double figures.
I think you knew that he had the raw talent. And to fair to Kris, he go and worked at his game. If you see pictures of him now until then, and you see how he's developed physically as well, he'd always work at how well his finishing was. That was one thing he never took for granted. You see guys in training that go through 1-on-1 and they'll maybe just have a laugh or knock the ball at the goalkeeper, but Kris always done his work on the training pitch. Whether it was in a drill or whether it was a training match, he always took it serious in front of goal.
I think over the years he's probably just honed his skills and developed his game. He knows where to be in the box, as I mentioned before. I think when you know if you put the ball into an area and he's going to be on the end of it, and that comes for obviously years of watching the game and playing the game. He knows where to be in the box. He's a great finisher, and I think he links the play very well as well, not just in the box, but kind of coming for deeper in the pitch for guys like myself. Back in the day, he was good to play 1-2s with and to get us up the pitch as well.
One of those guys you would look at in training, you would talk to other players and other clubs, and somebody would say, what's Kris Doolan like? And you'd actually sit back and go, well, do you know what? I wouldn't say he was quick, I wouldn't say he was slow, but I wouldn't say he was quick. He's not strong, he's not physically going to throw you about or give you a battle that way. He's not great in the air, he's not particularly skillful, but he'll finish. And if when you're playing against a striker and you know that that's his main attribute, then you've got problems. You'd rather play against guys that can do everything else but might miss the chances, but Dools was always one that would stick it away.
It's great to have a player so dependable that you can depend on to have those goals during the season. You know he'll come good, even if he's going through sort of sticky spells. You know he's going to get 10 minimum for the season, which is always a great thing to do. So yeah, it's great to have a player like that. You're sort of in the wings waiting to know that you can depend on him.
Their job was just basically get the ball to Dools in the box and let him do his thing. Probably the best box striker I've played with. The movement was brilliant. 9 times out of 10 he'd take his chance and it would win you the game, and so many points over the years he's won us when I was here. And it makes your job easy when you know if you find him in the box he's got to take it.
Season 2012-2013 was a season no one would forget.
I think it was the style of football we played. We blew teams away at the early part of the season, really exciting stuff. And you had that sort of feeling that after 5 or 6 games when we won the first few that there was something special going on here. And we were a real sort of close group. We were all friends, still all speak to each other to this day, and you've seen in Dools' testimonial that we're all so very close. So I think that being close, and we were all decent players as well, and we sort of gelled together at the right time. And we had a lot to prove. A lot of boys came from different clubs, sort of let go for Motherwell's, Hearts, Hibs, teams like that, and had a point to prove. And we certainly done that.
I think with that team that won the championship, we had a good bond in the changing room. We had fun all the time as well, but when we went to work, we knew it was serious stuff, and we always wanted to win, and we always believed we could win games, and it just comes with trusting each other, and as I said, like that team bond.
Sure, we had good players, but we all just seemed to kind of gel together, and I think we all knew, if you ask any of the other boys, we all knew kind of early on in the season that we had something special going on, and we all kind of felt early doors that we were going to be challengers for the league, and we never, even as the season went on, and I think we were a good few games behind and points behind Morton at the time, I don't think there was ever any panic and ever any worry that we weren't going to be up there challenging for it. So it's hard to say what was so good about them, the team that year, but I think when everybody looks back at it, it's probably one of your favourite teams that you'll play in throughout your whole career. We just seemed to have a bit of everything. We had good attacking full-backs, a guy that could score goals up front, good attacking midfielders, good defence. It just all seemed to come together really well that year.
We had experience with Hughie Murray, Dools, a couple of older ones as well, Stevie Craig when he came in, obviously Archie, and I think a lot of boys were coming off and maybe getting released for clubs, and I think that was a big part of it as well. We had a point to prove, and we had a great start to the season. I mean, we started the season on fire, and I think that gave us the belief to continue that form.
There's a kind of feeling a good feeling about the club. Every day we've got, on the playing side of stuff, we've got some really good players who are looking to push on and make a push for the Premier League. So we're just hoping that everybody gets behind us now.
I think the whole team, the whole formula team just worked. The whole chemistry was very good. We had a really good mix of older professionals with a couple older guys, myself, Davy Rowson, Craig Hinchcliffe was kind of coach, Max was running about things, obviously wasn't playing, and we had a good balance of hungry young players come in as well. We had Chris had been about the club, Chris Erskine as well for a couple of years as well, and you had the likes of Conrad, Taylor Sinclair, guys that all had knocks but had a chance to go and make a career out of the game, a second chance so to speak, and you find out a lot about guys that grasped that chance. And they got a good start, and they actually had a good pre-season tournament. I think they played here against Celtic's younger lads and Everton I think it was, and sometimes you just hit the ground running, and it was just free flowing after that, but they were real tight knit, and I think you've seen that when they all came back for Chris's testimonial game. I mean, they're still a tight knit group, still all guys all still talk, and when you have success like that it usually forms a really good bond, and the boys had that bond for the start. Sometimes
things just click. It's not, I couldn't actually put my finger on anything if I'm being honest, but made us work so well together. I think it was just a willingness to try and score goals. It was, as you said, like Squiddy was on one side, and I knew if I got my chance, he would likely shank it to Dills, and Dills would get a tap in. So that was just the way it worked out. Like, we were all striving to beat each other, if I'm being honest. That was my target. As soon as I came in, I knew it was going to be a challenge to see who would finish top goal scorer. That was kind of what was driving me on.
I think every team needs a guy like Dools. I think that's the thing in football, that you see it throughout every level, and every team needs a guy that's going to put the ball in the back of the net. They're priceless, they're worth their weight in goal, and it's a player like me who creates chances, then there's nothing better than when you create a chance and somebody sticks it away.
Look, the guys made it easy for me. They got me the job, made it very, very simple. I think from a personal point of view, you realise quickly that players don't like change. They like things to be the same, especially when they're young, and some of them are quite naive at the time as well, and they just want, everything was going well at the time for them, they just want the same as same. So you had guys like Kris Doolan, Hugh Murray, guys like that, and Pates as well, that kept the boys all together, and Kris played a big part in that as well, and keeping the guys all keeping their feet on the ground, and more or less saying them not to panic, not to worry, things will be okay, and that's what you're looking for, because when things are going as well as that, you just want things to keep the same. Add a couple of players to get us over the line, we did, and the rest is history.
Partick Thistle made it to their first cup final in over 40 years, facing Queen of the South in the Challenge Cup final in Livingston, a game he went on to score in.
It tells you everything about his character and the way he was as a player. It was a massive day for the club, and it was really hard to leave him out, but Stevie Craig had been doing well at the time, so we went for Stevie in the shape we were playing, and everything happened so quickly with Big Aero getting sent off after the penalty, and it just went a bit mad, but Kris still kept his cool under pressure and show his calmness in front of goal to get us that equaliser, and the place just went mad with all the fans running on the pitch. It was just disappointing to then go on and lose the game in penalties.
Even when we had a couple of hiccups, we knew we could turn it back on again, and we managed then to get there, and it was kind of against us. I think we had a bit of luck as well with the game up in Cowdenbeath where it got called off with fog. So all these things need to go in your favour to win a league, and it's definitely something that I look back on fondly. When you're young at that age, you think it's going to happen every year, and I wish I took it in a bit more when you're at this point in my career.
The club took the step up to the Premiership as Kris Doolan completed his rise from the juniors to the top league in Scotland.
Again, I think it was we had a point to prove. A lot of the players were doubted in the younger years and came through together. I think the important thing that we done when we went up to the Premiership was we kept the core team the same. We saw that for the first game of the season against Dundee United, where I think every player in the starting 11 hadn't played a game in the Premiership, so we had a point to prove together. We had good players that could make a step up, so it certainly wasn't easy, but we enjoyed it together.
I think your first season in the Premier League is always the biggest one, because I think obviously you're not used to playing such good teams week in, week out, and I think everyone expects you to go straight back down. So I think that first year, if you can survive it and you can stay in the league, then you can build something. So that was massive that year. I think everybody kind of expected us to go straight back down. Nobody really gave us a chance, but obviously I was only here for the second part of the season, but the team had done so well to get themselves in the position to stay in the league, and then I think we stayed up at Tynecastle. I think that was a game where we secured our status in the league, and it was a brilliant night.
You never ever get in a huff, and some players see a new player coming in at the start of the season, they think, Oh no, that's mad years of it. I think Kris understood what he was, the type of penalty box striker that Kris was. The game was probably changing at the time when everybody was playing one up front. It was a big physical striker. We didn't have legs running about him. And for certain games we needed Kris to not be playing, or we needed him to be playing, and he'd always play his part. But he realised that when he brought a striker in, that he'd know that whatever striker or what player we brought in would bring a different element to the team. And I think whatever striker we did bring in, they all effectively made Kris better, because he would always up his game, and he knew, and he had self-belief. He had a good self-belief, and he wasn't over arrogant or confident. You get guys that like that, but he had confidence in his own ability, and he knew that he would always score. Given the chances, he would go and score, and I think that was which made him such a hero here.
I think it's, as a goalkeeper playing against him, you think you always need to be on the ball, because if he gets a chance, he's 9 times out of 10 going to hit the target, so you need to always be alert for him to get a chance. And as I say, he's scored a few into me over the last couple of years, and I know him more than most.
I think the overriding thing about Kris is he worked incredibly hard. He recognised, as I said, the chance that he had to go and make a career. And I mean, I don't think he would have thought he would have turned himself into the Thistle legend that he has, but he always had confidence that he could score goals at any level, and that's been proven. You know, there's not many that will score the number that he did in the Championship and then follow that up over such a consistent period in the Premiership, which was obviously great to see and great to be involved in, and great to watch him develop into the top Premiership striker that he was. So no, he's an example from a hard work perspective, understanding the opportunity you've got and working as hard as you can to make the most of it, rather than just thinking it's going to come your way.
I think that humility and that willing to learn. I mean, Kris will tell you himself. I mean, I brought in a lot of strikers when I was manager because we had to. But he was always part of my plans. We always had him there at the club. But he was never a guy that would go and chap your door. He would just prove you wrong or give your answers on the pitch when he was called for as a sub, or any time he would start. You knew what you were going to get with Kris generally, and you knew he'd go with a run-up form that he would be happy with himself. But when he did get that chance, he would often go on reruns of 3 or 4s and 5 goals that he would score in every game. So he was just that type of guy that was willing to learn, and he was humble, and he realised his place as well, and he'd done his talking on the pitch. I think that's the biggest compliment you can give him, rather than banging down his people's doors and having tantrums. And he was always ready to go on the pitch and play. I always talk about, if he was on the bench, whether somebody was down injured after 1 minute, Kris would be on. I remember Kris getting injured at Easter Road, and Lyle Taylor still having a huff. He was still in a huff and had his boots on, and Kris went down injured after 5 or 8 minutes. I think he was on his shoulder or a hamstring, and Lyle was still in a huff and wasn't prepared. And Lyle's probably learned from that. When he looks back on that, he would think, what was I doing? But Kris was never that type. He always learned for the right guys, and that's what we tried to preach to Kris, to the younger players coming through, was learn off of Kris Doolan. Pick him as a role model, rather than the flashiest guy with the flashiest boots that walks on the bus.
No, yeah, I've scored a few memorable ones. The one at Easter Road, we picked the ball up in halfway line and run half the pitch. Isn't really a kind of goal I would score. I think I've only scored one like that, but that's the kind of goal that sticks in my head.
It's hard work, and it's his ability to score goals. It's the hardest part of the game. Anybody that's ever been involved in football will tell you it's what sets good players apart from, or great players apart from good players. And he's definitely got that ability to be in the right place at the right time, score all types of goals, whether it's tap-ins that we've seen him score, or goals like the one he scored at Easter Road when he runs from the halfway line and takes it past a few and sticks it away with great composure. So he can do all of those things.
Kris scored his first professional hat-trick as he scored 4 in a special night against Hamilton at Firhill.
It's probably one of the most enjoyable games, if I'm being honest. It was freezing and we completely blew them away. It was a great team performance, but as I've said, that's just tools. We have a good performance, but unless he's here to put the ball in the back of the net, it doesn't matter. It was finished not in each, so it was a great game to be involved in. I'm glad I played a part in it. Nobody remembers the assist, but so I can't take that away from anyway. The finishes are brilliant. Actually, didn't try and pick him out. There was one I tried to cross for Ryan Stevenson, and Dills being Dills, the boys just went straight to him. He took a great touch, turned the defender and put it in, but I can't take the credit for that. I've tried to pick out Steve-O and he's nicked it off him.
Comes straight back at Hamilton, lawless, onto Doolan, turns, oh, it's magical from Kris Doolan! Great invention from the striker, who completes his hat-trick. Well, this was a superb goal. Lawless's touch was brilliant, and Doolan down the right hand side whips in the cross. Doolan! Oh, it's a fourth! It's 2 in 2 minutes, and they just can't keep this man out tonight.
I think you always know Kris is going to get the chances, and the other thing to come with it, he scored 100 goals, and what people don't realise, he did take a lot of penalties. I think you see all strikers that scored a lot of goals, and especially in the top league, that they were usually the penalty taker. Kris only scored maybe 4 or 5 penalties probably. I don't know what the correct stat is on it, but he never took a lot of penalties, which adds even more and makes the record look even better for me.
I didn't know he'd be here for quite that length of time, and I know probably had opportunities to leave, and you always felt maybe for the Premier League he lacked a yard, but his movement and his touch going by, and obviously I'd be a liar if I said I fully expected him to score 100 odd, 120, whatever it is, for Thistle, but he certainly had the attitude to do it, the finishing prowess, and he worked his socks off. Kris Doolan worked his socks off to become the player he was, so I can't say I expected it, but I was delighted it happened.
He scored his 100th and his 101st against County, and then not long after that we finished top 6, and he scored a goal against Motherwell, which was a tremendous achievement for the club, and one that we probably underestimated at the time looking back on it, and to be there when somebody like Kris scores those goals and earns that bit of recognition and that special place in the record books it's a great achievement for him, and because he is such a nice guy and so well regarded within the change room and within Scottish football, then everybody was absolutely delighted for him.
I think it was fantastic the way it happened, and being such a good year, finishing the top 6 and Kris getting that goal. It couldn't have happened a better way, to be honest.
100 goals seems a long way off, especially when you first sign for a club. Not many players hang around long enough to score a lot of 100 goals. So for me that's a big achievement, and it's something I'll always remember, and hopefully the supporters and everybody associated with the club will always remember that as well. Couldn't have written that. If I was going to make the story up, that's exactly the way I would have written it. Like I say, that means the world to me, and to have the captain's armband on at the time was brilliant.
And you often see these guys that have t-shirts with notices or signs or messages on them that wear them for ages. I don't think Kris had to wear that for too long. That was you always expect him to get that goal. But just the manner, the way it all happened, and it was a great finish to a great season, getting top 6 and Kris getting his 100th goal.
Absolutely ecstatic. I think you can see when the goal goes in that what it means to us, and especially at the end of the game. That was the equaliser. We couldn't go too mad because we might have lost the game, but we've went on, we've won the game. So I think you see at the end just what it means to everybody, not just personally for myself, but to make that top 6 position.
It was obviously when he got his 100th goal, I was the goalkeeper who scored, didn't he? So to be fair, I can probably look back at it now that I was at least part of the celebration, even though I didn't like it at the time, and obviously Party got the result that day, and it's a weird thing that I was on the bench for Queen of South when he scored his first goal as well, so I seen number 1 and I seen number 100, so I'm quite privileged to be there.
I think for any player to score 100 goals is, for any club, is incredible. Obviously I don't think nowadays a lot of players stick about long enough to score 100 goals. To get top 6 was incredible. I think, as we spoke about before, about coming up into the league and you're not sure what you're going to get from it. Staying in the league is obviously a priority, and you build on that every year, and I think that's at the start of each season, that's what you're looking for, is just to stay in the league. So I think for a club like us at the time to come up and after a few seasons to get to the top 6 was probably the pinnacle of my time here, and I would say probably the same for Dools and the rest of the boys as well. So it was an incredible achievement at the time, and I think when you look back at how things have went for the club now and the position they're in now, that I think you realise what a great achievement it was.
After the highs of top 6, a real low was to follow. Thistle and Kris were relegated back to the Championship after a playoff against Livingston.
It was horrible. Relegation obviously it's hard, but probably the time that me and Dools had been here, I think it probably hit us the hardest. So I remember speaking to I spoke to Dools probably right away the next day after it, and I think the two of us, just like about everybody else, had an option just to leave the club and go elsewhere, and we both, when I spoke to him on the phone, we both said, no, we're staying, we're definitely staying, and try and help the club back to the Premier League and to help Archie, who was the manager at the time as well. So and then I think we both phoned Archie the next day after that and just made him aware that we were definitely staying. So it was a hard time for everybody at the club, for all the people round about, players and all the staff round about. So it was horrible, but I know it didn't work out. But my main thing, and speaking to Dools as well, his main thing was to try and help the club get back to where we were before.
Comes back to Doolan, he shoots, he scores! He's got his first goal of the season, and he will feel over the moon about that, having just missed with a chance seconds previous. He will be the most relieved man at Firhill. Something's happened. What's going on here? I don't think this is counting for some reason.
So that the ghost goal was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in football. Could not believe it at the time. It was a clear goal, obviously everybody's seen that, and I think the weirdest thing for me at the time was he gave the throw in, and on the pitch I just did not understand what was happening. We were celebrating, then I seen the linesman flagging, and I thought, what's going on here, nobody can be offside, and then when he gave the throw in, I couldn't work it out. I lost my head a wee bit, to be honest. I was shouting at the ref, shouting at the linesman. I think I get booked for it in the end up, but one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And I think the strangest thing about it, or the worst thing about it, was actually one of Dools' better goals. Usually his goals are for a yard or 2 yards, so to score one for 16 or 15 or whatever was brilliant for Dools. So I think that was kind of the worst bit about it for him.
From Doolan's shot, blocking the goalkeeper. Everybody's round the referee, and it is throw. What's he given? What on earth is he given? I have not a clue what he's given here.
He's signalling for a throw-in, but I've no idea how in any world that could possibly be the correct decision.
In 2019, Kris was granted a testimonial from the club and became the first player still playing to be inducted into the Partick Thistle Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think it's been so special. Sort of the connection between the player and fans is such a big thing. Kris has certainly got that, and in terms of what he's done on the park, obviously all his goals makes him a legend, but off the park as well, he's such a nice guy, and he'll speak to any fan or going about the place, so he's such a great guy in that sense. And being here so long, you get that sort of close connection, and you see on the park, you know, the boys that have got that close connection with the club, really sort of, you see them giving that wee bit extra, and Kris was certainly one of them. So he's thoroughly deserving of all the accolades he's getting. The Hall of Fame last year, his testimonial year, and the testimonial game, you saw everybody how close they came together, and he had such a great day. So yeah, being at the club so long, Kris has certainly got that love for the club.
I think getting inducted into the Hall of Fame is probably the biggest thing that has happened to him at the club, I would say anyway, because it's something that nobody will ever take away from him now. He's written into the club's history books, and to be the only player to be inducted while he was still playing as well is an incredible achievement. So I was delighted for him, obviously, when I heard that he was going in, and as I said, an incredible achievement that will live with him forever.
Yeah, I've been at the club for 10 years. I've seen the club go highs and lows, and I can assure you the club has to get back to where it was, and slowly but surely we'll get there. But you know, you, the fans, are the ones that can help. You're the extra ones, the 12th man, like everybody says. But for me personally, you have taken to me so well, and like I said, individually, I thank each and every single one of you every single day, because it's an absolute pleasure for me to come and play for this club, to score 119 goals so far and counting. Like I said, it's a massive pleasure for me to now see my name in the Hall of Fame alongside Chick Charnley, Jerry Britton, absolute icons of the club, not just legends. You hear people talk about legends, but these guys, they're icons of the club, and the club needs icons because it's what gives us identity, and not just in Partick Thistle but in Scottish football. These icons are the type of people that relate to Partick Thistle,
And once again, thank you very, very much for inducting me.
I'm sure it means the world to him and his family. I think to be here for so many years and to put in so much that you put in as a player that maybe goes unnoticed, people don't see, but I think to put in the hard work and day to day that you put in as a player, and to be here for so long, score so many goals, and I think to be recognised for that is obviously what the Hall of Fame is. As I said, that'll never be taken away from him, and it's an incredible achievement. I'm sure that it's probably the best thing that's happened to him with Thistle.
I think sometimes you just find the perfect fit. I'm sure Dools wouldn't mind me saying this, that he's had chances to leave over the years. Sometimes you just feel at home somewhere, and if you're scoring goals and doing well, I don't really see what more. He's that type of man. I don't think it would take something outrageous for him to move, especially when he was scoring goals, and that's all he loves doing.
I know the controversially was let go from our club, and who knows, he might be back at some point. I think there's a lot more to Kris Doolan than scoring goals. I think his movement and in particular his touch, he's as good as there is in terms of bringing the ball out there and linking the game. He's obviously a really great influence in and around Firhill. But there's more. I always feel there's a lot more to Kris Doolan than just scoring goals. You see him getting balls played in him that he's got no right to bring down, and I'm sure all the fans, if they listen to this, will know exactly what I'm talking about. He brings it down and brings people into play. So he had all these attributes, and also he had the ability to find a little bit of space in the box, hence the amount of goals he scored.
The timing of his runs, he gets into areas where he's going to hurt teams. I think that's it. His brain is he's got an excellent football brain, I think, and ability to match it, and I think that's what makes him a bit special.
I probably wouldn't think he'd go on to have such a successful career at one club. I think it takes a special player to do so. I think he had it, but it's a hard ask to stay at one club for such a long period of time, and I think it's credit to him the loyalty he showed Partick Thistle over the years, the hard work he's put in, and the goals he scored. It's no fluke that a striker scores so many goals, and he deserves every credit he gets.
He's clinical, and even though people talk about his goals and stuff as well, he's a hard worker, and he always puts a shift in for the team. He's never sulks if he never plays. He's always part of the squad. He understands that, and he knows football's a team game.
I think Dools is a great role model for young kids. I think especially the way he came into the professional game, having gone through the juniors, I think it shows that there's a pathway there, whether you're in a youth team at the professional level, or you're playing junior football, you're playing amateur level. I think it shows that there's a pathway there for you.
I think younger players can learn from Kris Doolan. I mean, even in his short spell he had under me at Ayr United, I thought his attitude to the younger players was absolutely spot on, and how he talked to them, how he tried to help them, and it's a thing that I felt, and this is only my opinion, everybody's allowed their own opinion, but it's a thing that I think it could have been utilised over a long period of time at Partick Thistle. So I think he is a fabulous role model, and particularly a fabulous role model for a Partick Thistle player.
Kris played 401 times for Partick Thistle and scored 121 goals and counting.
Kris, congratulations on your testimonial. It's something you absolutely deserve for your contribution to Thistle over the years. You've been a terrific player, you were a pleasure to play with, a pleasure to coach and a pleasure to negotiate your testimonial contract with. Congratulations, you deserve everything you've got from the game. Well done.
Just like to congratulate you, Dools, on a remarkable career at Thistle. It's a shame it's came to an end, hopefully not for forever. I'm sure we'll be back in some capacity. It was an honour to play with you, you're a great guy. Just happy I don't need to do your running anymore, but it was well worth doing it for all the goals you scored, and wish you all the best for the rest of your career in football.
Dools, well done on your such a successful career at Partick. I wish I could have been there for a wee bit longer of it. You deserve your legend status at such a great club.
Kris, you've had an outstanding career and a fantastic career. You've not made as many appearances as me, thankfully, but you've more than made up with some quality goals and some special moments for, I think, all the fans and for myself, Scott Patterson, and all the coaches that you had through your time at Partick Thistle.
It's been a pleasure playing with you all these years, playing with you and against you. Hope you have a great year, a great testimonial, and you deserve everything you get. All the best, mate.
Dools Banzo here, congratulations, mate. Such a great career at Thistle. Thoroughly deserved all the merits you're getting. Such a legend, scoring over 100 goals, over 400 appearances. And on top of it all, such a great guy. So congratulations, mate. You still need to work your pace a wee bit.
Kris, great to see what you've achieved in your career. All the lads here, we've always kept track of what you've been doing, and if anybody deserves it, it's certainly you. All the best, Kris.
Congratulations, Dools, on everything you achieved at the club over your 10 years, and I'm sure it won't be long before we see you back in the dugout, and hopefully I'm standing beside you.
Dools, congratulations. I hope you have a fabulous night, and I will see you at Firhill very soon.